Hello, everyone. Hello, we welcome you all to our online workshop. This workshop organized within the framework of the 6th International Scientific Conference of Economics and Management, researchers dedicated to the Year of Solidarity for a Green World. Organized in cooperation with Azerbaijan State University of Economics, UNEC, Heydar Aliyev Center, Regional Development Republic Union, and UNEC International Center for Graduate Education. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the conference, my dear professors. We are honored to have such a diverse and distinguished group of professionals and experts gathered here today to discuss and explore solidarity for a green world. Today, we discussed about how the how the increasing amount of waste generation and its adverse environmental effects have become a crucial challenge for the global authorities. Today we discussed about how the ecological modernization theories and circular economy models, resources recovery from the waste streams emerged as a practical solution depending on the efficient waste management system. Today we have great professors from all the world who is actually looking to our section. I'm actually happy to see our professors in our workshop. Especially, I want to give thanks for Professor Dr. Alina Nuta, Danube University, Galatia, Romania, and even we have other Professor Romana Rupeica Apoga, Professor Doctor of Finance, University of Latvia. We have chance to see Dr. Johanna Siekiera, International Lawyer, Marine Corps University, USA, and NATO consultant. We are happy to see you in our conference and workshop. Today, I want to talk main thing about the globally increasing population trends. Urbanization and industrial developments have led to a large amount of waste generation. Several damaging society and environmental improvements in living standards and income levels also cause more resource consumption, and thus generating a massive amount of waste. According to the World Bank in 2019-2020, global waste may increase by 70% in the next 30 years. And continuously increasing global waste has become a crucial challenge for the authorities as it adversely affects public health and environmental sustainability. Waste management has particular implications. Waste management it helps for developing countries, and these are also confronting growing populations and changing lifestyles simultaneously, we may say that there is kind of technological innovations which affect the effectiveness of this process. First, advanced sorting technologies. Investing in the state-of-the-art sorting technologies, AI, in robotics can improve the accuracy and speed of separating different types of waste. Other practical situations enhance recycling processes, developing new recycling methods for materials, such as certain plastics and others composite materials, And in the same time, we have biotechnological approaches, which also help to utilizing the microbes and enzymes, for the biodegradation of organic waste. It also, we can see in the policy and regulation part that it also processed in the situations in incentives for recycling. Then we can see extended producer responsibility. Then we have kind of the situation when we should focus on the strict landfill regulations. It means enforcing the stringent regulations as a landfill use can drive the need for better waste management practices and encourage resource recovery. Now we have other part of which we should compare and we should consider in the future. It's a public awareness and education. In education part, we have two cases: is CSR, corporate social responsibility programs we should engage and also inducted to our education part. And consumer education campaigns, it's educated the public amount of about the importance of recycling and how to properly sort waste can increase the quantity and quality of recyclable materials collected. It also actually rewarded and processed by them waste management. Then we should focus on the economical part of the waste management. This is the market development for recycled products. We should focus on the market situations. We should research, first of all, how we may do it better, how we may manage this processing. In other cases, we should focus on the recycling situations, and these recycling situations also help to manage and see the investment in recycling infrastructure. We should, in countries is developing and developed countries, also must focus on the providing funding for the development and maintenance of recycling. The facilities can improve the efficiency and capacity of the waste resource recovery system. And other last one is collaboration and partnerships. You know, in all countries nowadays, we have million programs that can provide the negotiation between the stakeholders, which can put them involving and put their consideration for the community. It's a public-private partnership which can do it and help to improve this drawbacks. And other one is international cooperations. It's also all these projects help to manage and go through all these waste management drawbacks, trying to find them how to solve the situations. And it also help us to understand the main aim of our community, not only focusing in the processing for earning money. We should focus in other part, that we should know how to use this amount of financial sources and how to use it better to be more green and more sustainable. Because nowadays, you know, we have the resources, our resource is limited. That's why we should know how to manage them better to save these resources, limited sources, for the future and be more productive. This part, now I'm trying to conclude my presentation, and I want to give speech to Romana Pogar. It's nice to see you in our workshop. Professor from Finance University of Latvia, Women Research Council as well. Next, can you see our screen, and can you hear us?
Yes. Good afternoon. I'm very glad.
Your microphone.
Microphone.
Your presentation. We couldn't hear you because your microphone, I think, is closed.
No, I'm not on mute. You still can hear me?
No.
But I can see that others are able to hear me.
Okay. Yeah? Yes.
Now
yes.
You also can hear me.
I can see. Yes, it's okay.
It's okay. Yes, I'm very glad to be part of this conference. It was an honor for me to participate last year, and I'm very glad that you invited me also this year to talk about sustainable digital transformation. And today I will share with you our study findings about sustainable digital transformation in small and medium enterprises in my country. And topic is about digital transformation, what is quite actual, but we decided to go further and add this miracle word as sustainable and see how it changed. And we want to see how sustainable digital transformation goes within our companies. And it's a quite new concept, what is sustainable digital transformation, and we define it as a process of digitalizing the economy in the long term, green and organic way by capitalizing on its case trends, innovative companies, and their business ecosystems. So during their digital journey, business managers face a number of resource challenges, and research-based theory can help them to use this resource more effectively. Also, the resource-based theory was proposed in 1984 by Wernfeld. Its popularity in academia and also in industry is growing, as the role of resource-based theory is to develop and maintain competitive advantage by managing one resources and capabilities. Digital transformation is a relatively new concept that is still evolving, and are resource-based theory and its various approaches which are emerging in tandem with the changing environment. And that's why we apply this theory to study digital transformation. So we develop a concept that identifies barriers to sustainable digital transformation using the resource-based theory. To collect data, to test our hypothesis, we needed to conduct a survey, and the survey consisted of 17 statements identified after reviewing the literature on digital transformation, and 5 company-specific questions related to the company size, revenue, business models, economic sector, and respondent status. The survey was conducted in 2022, and we were lucky to obtain a representative sample of 433 companies, which is possible only because you're coming from a small country, and we were lucky to get this large amount for a relatively small economy size. Um, what are the barriers that we identified in literature review as the main barriers to sustainable digital transformation? There are 7. Lack of appropriate financing options, IT securities issues, insufficient digital skills of employees, the shortage of specialists in the external labor market, internal resistance to change, lack of managers' knowledge of how to do it, and shortage of uncertainty about the future digital standards. And also we asked such question as ability to perform digital transformation independently. So these were our main variables. And now let's talk about our finding results. What are the main barriers to sustainable digital transformation and how we classified them? So we ranked our barriers by importance. We asked our respondents to rank them from 1 to 7. So 7 was ranked as extremely important, and 1 was accordingly extremely unimportant for companies. And this figure shows a summary of the assessment. The barriers are classified into 3 levels based on their importance. So we see that very important is ranked as number 6. Are 2 barriers such as IT securities issues and shortage of specialists. As moderately important are 4 barriers as lack of appropriate financing, insufficient digital skills, internal resistance, and also managers are not knowledgeable enough how to do it. And we see that lack of uncertainty about future digital standards was estimated as macro for companies. These were barriers for all micro, small, and medium enterprises. But we know that companies are not homogeneous, so the challenges would face large companies or medium companies differ significantly would challenge micro companies, a small one companies. And that's why we decided that it was to check how different attributes of companies affect importance of these barriers. That's why further we look to companies' attributes. And first, our question was about the size. Does size of company matter when we measure importance of these barriers and shortages? So we classified companies according, first of all, according to number of employees. So if we speak about micro companies, it's up to 10 employees, and from 10 to 48 are small companies, and medium companies are from 50 to 250. And we can see that it's a visualization of differences based on ranks. So for micro companies, we see that lack of appropriate finances is extremely important. So it was measured with 7, what is the maximum. But for medium companies, we see it's only moderately important. But this is only visual differences, and we as economists want to know if there's some statistical differences as well, not only visual differences. That's why we decided to run also qualitative comparative analysis to compare to these all groups, and we found that there is statistical difference only for 2 factors. Lack of appropriate financing, and it's more challenging, more pressing for micro companies compared to small and medium. And we also found that the lack of managers' knowledge again is significantly more challenging for micro and small companies comparing with medium-sized companies. But for other barriers, we don't see differences, so they were estimated similarly. There is no difference on the size of companies. Next one, we decided to check also size of companies based on revenue. So we divided our companies to 2 groups. One group was up to 2 million euros revenue, and the second above 2 million revenue. And when we check what is the statistical difference in barriers between these 2 groups, we see that group with a smaller amount of revenue, so smaller group companies again, they have more challenges. In addition to lack of appropriate financing and lack of managerial knowledge, we see that also IT security issues are more challenging for them. As the next one, we decided to see is ability to manage digital transformation on their own affects companies' answers. And again, we divided our companies to 2 groups depending on their answer, because we asked them to estimate, are they able to run digital transformation on their own, or they need some external help to do it. And we see again that here differences are statistically significant almost for all barriers. So for companies that are not able to do digital transformation on their own, they see these barriers much more significant. So it's plus to already mention it too, lack of finance and managerial knowledge comes insufficient digital skills of employees, the shortage of specialists in the external labor market, and also internal resistance of employees to change. And finally, we also checked the status of our respondents. We divided them again on 2 groups, owners of companies and managers of companies. And we see that the difference was only for one barrier. So for owners of companies, it's much more statistically significantly more pressing problem is lack of appropriate financing than for managers of companies. But here we can see a link also with the size of company, because we have access to owners of companies mostly for micro and small. So managers are mostly coming from medium company size. And for them, of course, a lack of finance is not so pressing because they're able to attract money more easily than uh, micro companies with very limited number of employees. So our main findings are that we think that as scientific findings of our study is that we identified 7 major sustainable digital transformation barriers for micro, small, and medium enterprises using research-based theory, focusing on 5 major resources, because these barriers are linked to resources. It's financial resources, human, educational, emotional, and physical resources. And practical value for policymakers lies in the potential application of the study findings to initiate the process of sustainable digital transformation among the small companies by addressing their IT security issues and preparing future IT specialists. Moreover, we discovered that barriers differ depending on the attributes of companies. These findings imply that policymakers developing support strategies should take these differences into account in order to improve strategy efficiency. And thank you for attention, and let us remember the digital transformation is not driven by technology, but by people.
Thank you, Professor Ramona Lipeka, for your presentation. You explain us how to do it better and which other main process is going better. Thank you very much, Ms. Ramona. I would like to give the speech to Ms. Alina Nuta. Now we are presenting the presentation. Next presentation is coming. Welcome to our workshop. Good luck. Finger crossed to your presentation. Good luck.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me in your very insightful conference, and congratulations for all your environmental friendly initiative. I'm watching and following your Facebook account, your UNEC Facebook account, and I saw a lot of initiatives that are very good for our future, our common future. My presentation is related to the role of finance for sustainable development and just transition. I think all kind of the resources are very important for this process to happen. First of all, I cannot.
I can switch if you want. I can switch for you.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. A few words about me. I'm a professor of finance at Danubius University, Romania. I'm also research fellow of Human Women Research Council at UNEC. Thank you for inviting me to be in this amazing group. And thank you to, and also I'm grateful to Professor Nargis. And about my involvement in editorial initiative, I want to share with you about the fact that I'm co-guest editor for a special issue in European financial management. You can contact me after, and we may have some
collaboration.
Collaboration, yes. I'm also academic editor in PLOS ONE, associate editor in Frontiers in Economics of Climate Change and other initiatives. Next, please. Okay. Before starting the presentation, as a second step before my presentation, I want to put this finance involvement in a framework, in a new conceptual framework, as I name it, the color of finance. Because we are talking now about brown finance or dirty finance as financial flows that are related to dirty industries, green finance, or environmentally friendly finance, financial flows directed to action that positively impact the environment by reducing pollution, combating the effects of climate change, and ensure the energy transition, as carbon tax, green bonds, green credit, and so on, and also blue finance. Finance related to the Blue Initiative. That means economic activity related to ocean, seas, and coast that are impacting millions, billions of people. So the increased need for more sustainable development empower the role of finance in guiding flows for activities that limit the environmental degradation. Next, please. The presentation is based on a study I work on with some of my colleagues. And the rationale has the following. Okay, thank you. The pressure caused by climate change and pollution must be reduced so that the future generations can have similar living and working conditions. COP28 reiterated more strongly the need for to accelerate the effort of all nations in the climate action framework imposed by Paris Agreement. And also, according to NASA, the last 10 years were the warmest years. With 2023 as a record. So implementing the Paris Agreement calls for a shift in financing patterns, connecting financial flow to environmentally friendly objectives. Next one. Okay. And our study evaluates the interaction between green finance, renewable and clean technologies, uncertainty, and global warming in a global perspective, using monthly data from 2014 and 2024. Next. Methodology is based on a comparative analysis, ordinary least squares, and we use also quantitative regression. The next. Highlights of our study: green finance decreases climate change in both models. Renewable energy was also observed to be negative across all quantiles, and uncertainty index has a negative impact on climate change. Next. Financial flows can determine the course of transformation and direct new initiatives towards environmentally friendly projects. The efforts to limit global warming and to review and curb climate change effects should intensify worldwide, as the environmental aspects are global in nature, but sometimes are local in impact. Next. There are, and we all know, there are two kinds of measures taken: mitigation measures and also adaptation measures. In mitigation measures related to finance, we can find carbon pricing. Also, we can find carbon border adjustment mechanism that it has been implemented by European Union since October 2023. Also, an export credit arrangement was in place, is in place now to help exporters. Next. Adaptation measures to the existing environmental condition are also important in enhancing the resilience of local, national, international authorities. And the sustainable shift of the private sector's impact includes the social responsibility approach. That means aligning goals of social environmental related one with the economic one. Next. Data used, some indices from Standard & Poor's, also World Uncertainty Index, climate change. Next. And next. Okay. We observe an increased trend in climate change. The effect of green finance on climate change was observed to be highest in 17 quartiles. However, the estimate of green finance on climate change from the OLS was also observed to be greater. So the conclusion is that green finance decreases climate change. Next. Okay, next. Okay. Okay, thank you. The idea is to align financial flows and policies with economic, social, and environmental priorities, and also innovative and practical solution to unlock better financing and tackle the great finance divide between developed and developing countries. Next. The multiple crises underline the need for a long-term focus on resilient, sustainable, and inclusive development, and immediate and increased international support for vulnerable countries. Next. We need also sustainable industrial transformation. We know that different sectors are different impacted by this energy transformation, but this just transition. So we have to consider it. Sustainable business environment also. Through the redirection of financial flows to green technologies, adaptation solution, and innovative businesses, the financial sector has a key role to play to ensure that the transition to low carbon economies is equitable and leaves no one behind. And we have to highlight also the importance of insurance industry in this energy transition, and also banks industries, all kind of stakeholders. We are involved in this process, and this is a question from 1969 that is saying one of the most important problem is in the field of finance is, if not the single most important one, is the effect that financial structure and development have on economic growth, and I would say have on sustainable development for now. And does finance make a difference? And I would say that finance have a great role and very important role in directing flows to sectors and activities that are friendly and projects that are friendly with the environment, that are supporting also the just transition on based on the idea of no one is left behind, because we should involve all kind of shareholder and stakeholders, and this should be a joint effort, because we should let our children, our nephew, the next generation, we should let them enjoy the planet as we could enjoy, and we should offer them the same perspective, and supporting this idea. I think we should respect others. We should respect the environment, and in this way we can find the best results to stay together for a longer time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your great speech and your findings. You explain how is the best to find the way, the solution, the facts main. Then you explained how to solve main points of the process. Thank you for your contribution to our workshop. Now I want to give speech for Dr. Joanna C. Chiara, International Lawyer, Marine Corps University, USA. Good luck to you. Hello. Nice to see you in our workshop.
Thank you very much for introducing me, ladies and gentlemen. Hello from Poland. I am originally Polish. I just returned yesterday from Turkey, and knowing well one nation, two states phrase, I am very happy to be online in Baku. I hope very soon to join you in presence, because I am also a fellow at Women's Research Council, and therefore I am grateful to Madam Dr. Nargis Uzeir Haizeva. And ladies and gentlemen, this short presentation of mine, I would like to say a few words about ocean change and in the Pacific. Here you see the map of Oceania. I am not only a researcher about this region, but also a sailor myself. I sailed across this ocean. Some results are in the book. Please find online. It is printed in open access. It's for free. It is called 21st Century as the Pacific Century, because indeed we live in the world that every geopolitical, economic, and green energy transitions, they are happening there in Indo-Pacific. So whatever actually those actors, those states in Indo-Pacific are doing, it will sooner or later affect us on other continents. And why I say ocean change, not climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the globe, Pacific Ocean, but in broader term, Indo-Pacific, has the largest population on the planet. There are also crossings of maritime navigation, maritime trade, air trade. So everything what is important for us is happening exactly there, not mentioning great power competition. So US and NATO and totalitarian regimes like Russian Federation and Chinese People's Republic. So we must understand that ocean change is the maritime equivalent of climate change, of course. But when we look at ocean change, we usually think, okay, it's only sea level rise. Well, not only that, because ladies and gentlemen, for those people, and I've been there, I sailed from Fiji up to Palau, then Guam, Honolulu, in Hawaii. It's important to know that whatever is happening in biological, chemical, physical processes, it will sooner or later affect people, nations, through food security, health security, human security in general. Those nations are suffering already now from the lack or small amount of potable water, of varied nourisher products, because we, for us living in other continents, we have all the variety of crops, of husbanding cattle. We have this abundance, but mostly for Oceania people, the only source of protein is tuna. Therefore, because of acidification, because of increasing temperature of the ocean, fish will move further, far from the fishing parts of Oceania states. And again, if countries are becoming more and more vulnerable because of ocean change, malicious factors might step in. And here I mean mainly China. But from the economic point of view, and your university, it's economic university, two main branches of those Indo-Pacific countries, those are fishing and tourism. Tourism is missing because after pandemics, people from other regions are not willing to go over the globe to go there. Why would they? Everywhere else is equally warm, is equally exotic. And fishing, besides illegal, unregulated fishing activities, those species, they simply do not exist there anymore. They move away. And finally, me as a lawyer, I would like to underline the devastating consequence of ocean change being submerging states, submerging islands. And when we think about this phenomenon, it doesn't necessarily mean that islands will be overflowed by the water. Some might, but some will lose their bases. And here, law of the sea being one of the oldest branches of international law. According to United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which some countries have ratified, some did not, however, they follow the norms, we remember that from the fixed land base, we calculate 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zones. What if that land is missing? If it's shrinking, maritime zone is also shrinking. It means that those countries who are poor, and when I mean poor, I really mean poor, undeveloped countries, they have no legal rights to fish, to use exclusive economic zones for their research, for economic activities, to put cables, and so on and so on. So what can we do? Internationally, I am sad to say countries have other problems. When I look at 2021 report by the United Nations for the first time ever, and we tackle climate change for already 2 decades, states are not willing to change any law. States prefer to keep the status quo. Only those who are directly affected by the ocean change are hoping to change the law to protect themselves. Because sometimes I hear very negative comments that what's the problem? We can move those people from there. But people are not parcels. They're not commodities, to be put elsewhere. Plus, where would they go? What with their heritage, their culture, their language? Would moving to Australia solve anything? No. Under which legal basis? Would they keep their citizenship or acquire a new citizenship? Who will take care of them? And so on and so forth. So instead of having a treaty internationally binding about climate change, those countries, 13 states, they decided to act regionally. And as you know more than me, I'm a lawyer, but you're an economist, you know that acting at the regional level is faster, it's cheaper, it's more efficient. So those countries decided to go to United Nations Commission on the Law of the Sea and to say, this is our land, this is our maritime border, regardless if our states will be submerged. Because just to remind you, a state, to be called a state under international law, must have government, population, and territory. And this territory now is being threatened by ocean change. So they want to act before it's too late to secure that even in the case when their lands, their islands or little islet atolls usually will be gone, they have still a legal right to call themselves a state. So this is very short, but just, ladies and gentlemen, to show you that ocean change, so maritime equivalent of climate change, is not only changing the level of the sea or temperature of the water or maritime species existing in particular parts of the sea, but also it does affect people, their way of life, their struggles, access to food, to water, to medicines, what kind of branches of economy they supply, the budget, also the migrations. It's usually not even crossing the boundary of the state. So it is called internally displaced people, because one of the islands is being submerged, so they move elsewhere. And then in that new commune, they have to adjust. But sometimes, very often, they don't have education, they don't have training. So the unemployment is rising, especially among young people. And we all know when we have unemployment, we have higher level of corruption, of crime, of the lack of faith in institution, because if institution, the state, is not taking care of us, what can we do? So then we become more and more vulnerable on external actors who has no shame in using us. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, please find me on social media, find the book, it's in open access. And I am very honored again for having me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Joanna Sierra, Doctor, for your research, for your experience that you shared with us. It's a great contribution for all of the audience. We will try to make negotiation with you in the future. It's the best way to find ourselves, Miss Romana Rupeka Apoga from University of Latvia. Thank you for your contribution. For Alina, Miss Alina, Professor Nuta, thank you for your contribution, all contributions. We did our workshop in the high level. We discussed, we tried to show the audience how the waste management must be considered and how which problems, ecological and the sustainability problems do we have in the community, in the world, global problems. We should show the audience the main aspects of them and how to try to protect all of this. All of us must be consider it, and not only individually. It must be a communicable process together. We should do it together with the whole world. Thank you for your contribution. Maybe anyone had any question. If you want to tell something here, the audience, you may ask or tell something, my professors.
I only would like to congratulate that we are in the full female panel. This is beautiful.
Yes,
this is beautiful
very
statement
beautiful.
That you support women, you support women's research, and you, Azerbaijan, who is not seen that way globally. So this is your way to shine,
Yes.
And I'm very honored to be here. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you for everyone that you contribute and join our workshop. We did it actually, and see you in the next workshops. If you have anything to add, my dear other professors, yes, please, Alina Nuta, professor. Your microphone is closed, I think. Could you please open your microphone? Yes.
Sorry, my mistake.
Now
I want to congratulate Dr. Joanna for his voice in advocating this important cause. Yes, it's important to understand the need in collaborating and cooperating for this cause. And we are knowing that poorer countries would be more vulnerable to this transition and to climate change and also to ocean change, as you mentioned before. Because I've read some studies and they highlighted the fact that the poorer countries are placed geographically in warmer zones. Also, the quality of institutions is vulnerable, is a vulnerability, and the possibility to sustain by financing their technological transformation. So yes, it's very important to address differently, and it's important for developed countries to understand also and support also their actions. And I want to congratulate also Dr. Ramona for her presentation. Yes, we need to understand, and we need to highlight the fact that we should use technology for action that will impact and will bring us better life. Not only to search things or internet or different kind of things. And I want to ask if there is a kind of digital divide between different type of enterprises. She evaluates their behavior in adapting these technologies. Thank you.
Thank you. I understand it's a great question to me as a last speaker. I don't, I don't know about the device that we can differentiate different sizes of companies using digital transformations could be only estimated by using surveys where companies um, evaluate how advanced they are in technology, but we definitely notice that for large companies, digital transformation is not a problem. They have done it already. They have resources. They have staff to do it. But it's a big challenge for micro companies, very small ones, where we have only few employees. Of course, some of them are IT companies and they are already advanced, but the majority that are operating in retail, business, hotels, small family businesses, they need help. And what was interesting is not always the lack of money, because usually companies are really complaining that there is no enough money, not enough grants, and then government comes with money. But I think that more larger support will come from providing infrastructure, cloud services, cloud computing, uh, good infrastructure where companies for free or for very small amount of money can use these good platforms, not to give directly money. The companies usually spend, and there is no a lot of added value from such grants that help them with infrastructure, and that will be more effective. But I also want to congratulate the organizers of this conference and our workshop, and it's true. We are like in European Union, we have a high ambition uh, to become climate neutral continent by 2050. But we believe in one globe, and there are different countries, and it's definitely true if we in one part are trying to be very green and other parts of countries can't afford to be green, it will affect all of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As we come to the end of our workshop online session, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for your active participation and invaluable contributions. The insights and ideas shared over these 1 hour approximately have been truly inspiring and will undoubtedly lead to meaningful advancements in our field for our masters and doctorate and whole audience. I hope you all leave here with new knowledges, new connections, and renewed enthusiasm for the work that lies ahead. I think it will be, we will see in our next workshops together in the panels and workshops in the new and challenges topics. Thank you for your contribution. See you in next challenges. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.